collaboration with the Cyprus Mail. This is the Cyprus News Digest with Rosie Charalambous.
Coming up on the programme, a week of authentic Italian cuisine.
And what he's preparing is exactly what you would be served in Italy.
And we'll talk at length to the head of the Asylum Service in Cyprus about the processing of asylum seekers and the problems at the Kophinou reception centre.
We have officers here, who are in charge for Kophinou, and they take care of everything.
Starting on Monday and through until the 27th of November, we have the first week of Italian cuisine in the world, celebrated right here in Cyprus. To tell us all about it is the Deputy Head of Mission at the Italian Embassy in Nicosia, Tommaso Cornilio. We've had other weeks before in Cyprus where the cuisine, the wines, and all the other parts of Italian food culture have been brought to us. What's different about this one?
What makes this special is the first time that all over the world this is celebrated. Imagine there will be 1,300 events in 100 countries, and it's an initiative promoted by the Italian government to, let's say, promote the authentic Italian cuisine. That's why the initiative is called the Extraordinary Italian Taste. It's a trademark, if you will, of this whole project.
This time, though, I think, because it is in so many countries, it's not, in a sense, the embassies that are organising it. You seem to have cooperated with Italian restaurants and other businesses in the countries to actually bring the food to the public.
Absolutely. The Italian government is the promoter, but it relies on the embassies and the consulates and the Italian cultural institutes. We have 300 of them all over the world, so we are one of the 300, and our role is to coordinate this here in Cyprus. And we've partnered with a few well-known Italian restaurants or organizations that are really in the business of promoting authentic Italian cuisine and extraordinary Italian wines in order to bring this initiative to the public.
And of course you know better than most, because you are Italian, which are the authentic Italian cuisines, because there is a tendency, just like Chinese restaurants all over the world, they don't very often reflect true Chinese cuisine. I imagine the same applies to a lot of Italian restaurants.
Absolutely. I mean, Italian cuisine, I think, is one of the top 3-4 well-known cuisines all over the world. So many people open Italian restaurants, and some of them are quite good, but they are not Italian at all, the owners or the chefs or whatever. And we respect those, and as I said, some of them are very good. But the goal of this particular initiative is to tell the public, listen, this restaurant is using ingredients that come from Italy. The chef has been, either he's Italian or he's worked in Italy, he knows what he's doing, and what he's preparing is exactly what you would be served in Italy. So this is the difference. So, for example, the carbonara, which is a famous Roman dish, it's not going to be the carbonara for foreigners, it's going to be the carbonara for Italians.
And what's the difference?
For example, one difference, we don't put fresh cream in the carbonara. It's just eggs and bacon, if you will, guanciale. Whereas foreigners, they love their cream, fresh cream in it. And it's actually quite good, but it's not the way that we are meant to have it in Italy. So
are there any dishes that are going to be provided especially for this event that people perhaps may not have come across before?
Yes, this is actually a great question, and I want to say two of the highlights of this will be at the Isolani restaurant in Agios Antonios Market. And I would like to say on the 21st of November is an evening dedicated to Umbria, a region, quite famous region in central Italy, and you have some special cold-cut meats and cheeses that come directly from Umbria. You have a soup called cicherchie soup, which is actually some chickpeas that are produced only in that region, which is very special. And of course, handmade pasta called strozzapreti that you cannot find in normal Italian restaurants abroad, lasagna with truffles and mushrooms. Another very quickly important night will be the 27th on Sunday. Your Sunday lunch will be, there's a chef that's coming especially from Sardinia, from a remote area in the center of Sardinia, here to Cyprus to cook a very traditional Sardinian meal. and you can find the program on our website as well. But imagine homemade ravioli, Sardinian style, maialetto, cheeses. It's hard to describe. You go on the website to see it, but especially come taste it, because it's not something that on the radio you can explain well.
And let's talk as well about Venice, because as part of this you've also got a film screening, I think, which is fascinating, particularly for people in Cyprus, because of the Venetian connection to the island.
Absolutely. The Veneto region actually commissioned a documentary on the Venetian heritage in Cyprus. And it's a 30-minute documentary, so quite short. It will be screened on Thursday evening at the multifunctional center near Famagusta Gate. Details are on our website, and it's a documentary in Italian but with English subtitles, and the president of the Rovigo province will come on purpose for this premiere, and after that we will have sort of a Venetian finger food and wines, so that also in a sense complements our initiative on Italian cuisine.
So you better tell us the website where people can go and see exactly what's in store.
Yes, it's the website of the Italian Embassy in Nicosia. Just Google Italian Embassy Nicosia, you will find it, and it's on our front page. You can find complete program and all the details.
That's the first week of Italian cuisine in the world being celebrated right here in Cyprus from the 21st to the 27th.
Keep up to date with events in Cyprus and around the world with the Cyprus News Digest.
More than 100 refugees were washed up once again and rescued off the coast of Cyprus last week. They will join the some 300 who are already in the Kophinou reception centre. They were medically checked and then, I believe, taken to the temporary camp at Kokinotrimitia. With us on the programme this week is the head of the Asylum and Migration Services here in Cyprus, Magis Polidorou. Magis, that means that you've been kept fairly busy the last few months, because this is, I think, the third or fourth boat in a pretty short space of time. What is the prospect for these people?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that I'm always busy. Okay, these two departments are, because of the nature of our duties, are always busy. Okay, definitely in regard to the boats arriving in Cyprus from Turkey, yes, there is let's say, a constant trend. Boats with migrants, undocumented or Syrian refugees, to approach Cyprus from Turkey. And of course, these persons, for those seeking asylum, they will be, according to the legislation in the acquis as well, they will be hosted in an emergency, for the moment, an emergency place, and in case we have place in Kophinou center, of course they will be hosted there during the examination of their asylum applications. Otherwise, their case will be dealt with by the welfare office in order to accord them the allowance and the coupons, etc., for decent living conditions.
So what is the allowance when they're here? Are we talking now about the people, for example, in Kophinou? Did they get an allowance? Because I thought everything was provided for them in the camp.
No. There is a difference. If you are in a refugee reception center like Kophinou, you get accommodation, food and clothing, as well as an allowance of 40 euros for your personal expenses. This is something else. But if your case falls under the jurisdiction of the welfare, you are provided with rent allowance and coupons for clothing and food, plus an additional allowance.
So the people who are in Kophinou, are they recognised refugees? Because my understanding was that they'd applied for asylum, and some of them have been there for almost a year. How long does it take?
No. The Kophinou reception centers is for asylum seekers. In case somebody is recognized as a refugee, he should leave the center.
And then he falls under the welfare department?
Yes, so he has other, additional rights for full access to employment, and like everybody, and to be under the welfare system. So it's something different. So the centers, these reception centers, are for asylum seekers.
Okay, and what about the length of time it's taking to process these people?
It depends.
On?
It depends on the backlog, on the available staff to examine. There is no, but in case we don't examine their application within 6 months from the date of submission, we are obliged to inform them that we are not in a position to examine, because probably of the backlog. And of course we do our efforts in order to examine as soon as possible.
Right, now, what are the criteria? Because again, if we talk about the people who are currently at the Kophinou camp, some of them, I think, have had their applications certainly looked at. I don't know about accepted, but I understood some were accepted. And others who came on exactly the same boat from the same destinations have been refused.
It depends. The criteria is not, the criteria does not include that if somebody comes with the same boat, they have.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. What are the criteria?
No, the criteria is whether they have fear of persecution, a valid fear of persecution, according to the Geneva Convention, because they have persecution for reasons of or political reasons or
sexual
religious
orientation,
all these 5 reasons, and these are recognized as refugees. On the other hand, the international protection status have another one strand, the subsidiary protection. This means that it's not because you have persecution, because you are the specific person under these 5 reasons I mentioned before, but because of the, for example, undiscriminating violence prevailed in your country of origin.
So, war.
If you're, war. Okay, like Syrians. Mm-hmm. So, Syrians are granted at least subsidiary protection. But if there is no case for the moment, Syrian to be rejected, no. But if in the same, let's say, boat, we have other nationalities that they don't fulfill the criteria, they don't fall under the specific, of course they will be rejected.
Okay, let's talk specifically then about Palestinians, many of whom have lived in Syria for years because they can't live in Palestine, and they are very often the ones who seem to get caught up in this statelessness. Are there Palestinians in Kophinou?
It depends. First of all, it depends Palestinians of which country. Palestinians in various countries. I'm not going to extend to say something more, but every case is considered on its own merits. If, for example, I am a stateless, but I live in decent conditions in a specific country, according to the law, I don't fulfill the criteria. I can live decently in that country. I'm not going to say about to make a refugee status determination here. Every case is considered its own merit. Maybe, or somebody to claim that I am stateless, but not to be stateless. And there are a lot of cases, different circumstances that are under consideration. Somebody might claim that he's a Syrian, but he's not. He's Jordanian, for example, or he is Turk, or something like that. So, in order to say something and to be valid, we should consider every case on its own. This is something that is provided for in the law. I mean, it's the cornerstone. Every case on its own merit. You can an individual to examine thoroughly its case.
Okay,
His case.
but
Sorry.
so there's no sort of time frame then that you expect that within, for example, 8 months or a year, an applicant can expect to get an answer?
Yes, I told you that. I explained to you that our goal is the 6 months. However, you understand, if I have, for example, 10 case workers providing the production, let's say, is 100 per month, and I have an influx of 200 per month. You understand that? It is not easy to, there are cases to be examined within this period of 30 days. It's a matter of numbers, to compare numbers. Say that I can make this number of applications, or maximum, for example, 8 to 12, for example. But the influx is
Bigger than the staff?
bigger than the staff capability. I think it's obvious.
Can we switch to the problem of Kophinou? Because it's come to my attention that there are serious infrastructure problems there. And I'm wondering who is responsible for running the Kophinou camp?
Okay, I'm afraid that I'm not going to agree with you regarding the infrastructure. This reception center is monitored by the Commission. I mean, it was constructed according to the standards of the European Union, and the Asylum Service is in charge to run the reception centers, but he may delegate its authority to NGOs or other in order to.
But the Asylum Service is responsible overall?
Is responsible, but he may delegate, to authorize.
All right. We've always been frank with each other, Magis, you and I. Let me tell you what I have heard, and I checked it this morning because I heard it 2 weeks ago and I thought, I'm not going to just believe that. There is apparently raw sewage overflowing in the children's playground area of Kophinou camp. That's the first one. There are people arriving there who are begging for brooms to sweep out and clean the room that they are assigned to. There are other people trying to make do buying all the toiletries and things their family needs on the 40 euros that they're getting. It's obviously something's not quite right. I've heard they also need blankets, pillows, pots and pans, things that I had assumed were automatically provided there. So that's why I'm asking you who is responsible. Because if it's delegated to the Red Cross or to another NGO, who's checking that they're doing what they say they should? Because it's very bad for Cyprus.
No, I think that the system works, and they are provided, the officers there in charge, they provide them with all this. They have, I mean, you said something about blankets. We have cleaners, we pay cleaners. Okay.
Well, somebody's not checking that they're doing the job, is what I'm saying, because this... Magis, as I walked into your building, I was talking to somebody who has been to the camp and seen this and had a woman in tears saying, I can't clean the place, I want to clean it.
Okay, I will say something. Of course, complaints, this is something, if you reside in a camp, everywhere, in a village, in a city, wherever, of course complaints are made, and we examine these complaints. If something, okay, let's say, brings our attention, they bring something that happened, of course we are going to make, to change the situation and to satisfy the people who complain. On the other hand, we have cases that the complaints we are not.
I can understand that, but let's talk.
But you say that they go there. We have, since I explained to you that we have people there and we pay them to clean. One. Second, we provide all the services. We provide food, we provide clothing, we do that. But if something happens, okay, it is very easy to complain. I don't say that everything is running is working perfectly. I'm sure that this there is no place to say that this happened definitely. No, of course there are gaps. Of course there are complaints. It's a matter of treatment of people, of different culture, and complaints. For example, they say that I don't like the food.
No, I'm not talking about.
Anyway,
people...
you said about cleaning, and I told you that.
And let me ask you about the raw sewage. That's something that has now been going on for, I think, over a month. I'm suggesting that someone should check.
Okay.
The children's play area is running with raw sewage. I've heard 3-4 reports about it in the last month.
Anyway,
people have gone to the Asylum Service.
Let me investigate it. Okay, I'm not in a position to say something. Now you bring to my attention something. All right, I don't say that you are wrong or you are right. I'm going to examine it. But anyway, I'm not reluctant to examine any complaint. Of course, we are here. If complaints come to our attention, to examine it. And I'm going to do that. Because now, during an interview, you mentioned something. That in a specific family complained that the cleaner didn't clean all the... of course, I think that you understand it is not easy to say, this happened. It's impossible.
No,
every incident happening, or somebody said something. Okay, I'm not reluctant. I'm going to examine and to pay attention to
Can
that.
I just ask you this? Because I don't want to give you a hard time particularly. It seems you didn't know about some of these problems. What is the procedure?
I don't say... No. Rosie, let me explain once again. We have officers here, who are in charge for Kophinou, and they take care of everything. I mean, so this question, I'm going to examine it with my officers if this happens. But every day we have complaints, we have disputes, we have a lot of things.
Sure.
I don't say that since we have 400 people residing there, yes, of course it is normal to problems to take place.
Sure, but what is the procedure that the people who are in the camp should follow if they have a request or a complaint or they want to bring attention to something?
Okay.
Do they know who to go to?
Okay. They know, they have information about organization, about the Asylum Service to contact, to apply. If they complain, let's say that the staff of the center is not responding. In this case, of course, we provide them, and we have contacts with them. We have, and every day we take care in order the center to work in a proper way. But I prefer before any interview, if the journalist is going to mention a specific complaint, a specific case, it's better prior to that.
I only got confirmation of this because I checked it, and I got
we have to check. If I say, for example, this happened even in TV programs on. Yes, I have this case. Maybe somebody on the panel say, I have this case. But you did nothing, etc. But I have to investigate. It is very easy to say, I have this information and you did nothing. But you have time to examine whether this is true or not. And on the other, this happens in the parliament. Somebody said, we have that, somebody's happened this. Okay, all right, I'm going to investigate now.
Well, that's the main thing. If you are going to investigate, then this is done
and it was not valid. Anyway, at that time, 2 times in the parliament, so the past, happened, and it was not bad. The incident that was mentioned never took place.
All right, I know you've got a tough job, but I can leave here feeling that maybe our chat has not only brought this to light, which would be a good thing for all concerned, and as I mentioned also earlier, good for Cyprus, because we are part of the European Asylum Support Office. They give us a lot of money, and I'm sure that they want to know we're doing the job properly. So it's good for us to be seen to be doing it properly.
We get... Okay, let me correct you. We get money from the European Union, and of course we contribute as Cyprus to the budget of the European Union.
No, I'm talking about the European Asylum Support Office.
Yes, the European Asylum Support Office, the EASO, gives not economic, financial support. No. For the infrastructure, etc., the role of EASO is support of EASO is something else. It's not. I mean,
protocols
they don't give
and so on.
funds, let's say, for the erection of a camp or something like that. No, this is covered by other the European funds. But Cyprus contributes to the budget of the European Union, so it's a matter of circle. So we have. There is a limit. So we try to exploit these funds, and I think that all the member states do that in order to enhance and to strengthen the infrastructure, etc. So it's not something. It's not a gift. we contribute Cyprus, and of course we are in the European Union, and we apply in order to, according to the regulations and the procedures followed by the European Union, in order to get these funds.
And can I just ask you finally if we are sufficiently funded? Is the Asylum Service and your agency sufficiently funded to do the job the way you'd like to do it?
As I described before, there is a roof, right? I think that we do the best to take the maximum that we deserve. But on the other hand, I would say one thing, that the countries like Cyprus, like Greece, etc., we had a huge burden. That it was much more than our capabilities. This happened in the past, and now the difference is that now we have reduced numbers of new applications. However, in the past, for example, in the past we had more than 9,000 per year. Now we have less. However, the numbers of those who are entitled to a regime have increased significantly. So these people will stay, I don't know for how long. However, you understand that the sample changed. So Cyprus and some others like Greece, yes, we receive more burden, and from my point of view, we need more help and assistance from the European Union. This is a burden sharing. We mentioned it a lot of times in the past. Cyprus did an excellent work, and they contributed to the system, to the best possible extent. And Cyprus, just to say that we have the appreciation of the European Union about the work that the Cypriot authorities done during the past. And although we are a small service and small state receiving this enormous burden, however, of course, it is not easy to say that everybody is satisfied. Probably NGOs are not satisfied. There are NGOs that help the Asylum Service a lot, of course, but the complaints are always.
But basically you're saying that you could do with more help.
Of course, we need more help, and this is something that we mentioned. Not only Cyprus, the countries like I mentioned Greece, I mentioned maybe Italy or Malta, the countries of the south. Yes, we have this problem. Turkey occupies the northern part of Cyprus. They send us constantly undocumented immigrants and asylum seekers, either through the occupied part of, or they come direct, the boats from Turkey to Cyprus. If Turkey wanted to stop it, of course, it's a piece of cake for them. It's a piece of cake.
That's the head of the Asylum and Migration Service here in Cyprus, Magis Polidorou. Well, that about wraps up this edition of the Cyprus News Digest. Many thanks for your company. Hope you'll join me next week. Till we meet again, take care and God bless. Bye-bye now.